Macaroon Romano.
Romansu.
I'm not even sure if the audio probably paired up.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Sailor Moon Super Session. And you're here with some super fans, Enchante, and we have Chris and Janine who are gonna, introduce themselves to you. So let's start with Chris.
Yeah, so I'm Chris, CDiggy1. I'm on YouTube. Instagram, Twitter is CDiggy1 as well. I'm, well, I'll start off with I'm a really big Sailor Moon fan since the age of 10, way back in 1995. So it's one of the things that I can talk ad nauseum about. And I don't know that many people I can talk about it with. So this is great. Also, my background is in pop culture too, and I could be a little shady. So yeah, that's me.
The best kind of shade, though. So thank you for that. And let's hear from Janine.
Hey guys, my name is Janine Hartman. I'm an actress, dancer, and singer, and cousin of Shantae, the dopest. And my handles on TikTok, IG, Facebook, the Janine Hartman, right there, baby.
Amen.
Yes.
And how did you guys get into anime and then Sailor Moon? What's your journey? So, Janine, how about you?
Oh, okay. So it's gonna, my mom, she always said when I was going to school, like school ended at 2:50. I had to be home by 3:00. Mind you, I live like 2 miles away, so I had to hurry up and be home because it was gonna be my butt. So I remember specifically Sailor Moon started at 3 p.m. So I always be like calling her like, "Mommy, Daddy, like I'm home," and I would just like exhausted from like the train and the route, and I just got like I was like, "Let me just watch this show," and then I was just watching. I was like, "Oh, this is really good." Like I just like I felt it because she was so realistic. She was a superhero, yet she was getting annoyed at school. She really didn't have that many friends. She had this crush that he didn't really know about her or her whole existence, and the only closest friend that she had was a cat. So I was like, I got it. I understood. And then, like the 90s, like what Chris was mentioning, it was really big with like the fighting. So like Power Rangers was big, and that kind of had like a little bit of like anime-ish fixtures in it, and then Dragon Ball Z. And I would never like I always remember like my male cousins would come over and they'll get so hyped about Dragon Ball Z. But I was like very girl. I was like, oh, can we watch like Sailor Moon, like the whole Morphin? That was me. But that's how I got like literally introduced to it.
Mm-hmm. I see you, Chris, vibing already. Chris, what about you? How you got into Sailor Moon and anime?
Yeah, so let's see. I was about 10 years old and like around elementary school, yeah, like Sailor Moon came on like around 3 o'clock, but then it used to come on in the mornings too, like in the butt crack of dawn, like around 7:30 a.m. And that's how I saw it for the first time. This was like season one, like the whole Queen Barrel, like Dark Moon Kingdom saga. Um, it was just something that made me gravitate towards them. Like, I think just people just love her journey and growth, like throughout the entire anime. And then I just always had an affinity for bad bitches, like just since I was like young. And I just, yeah, the Power Ranger thing that was good too. And then I got into Dragon Ball Z like later on, like in middle school. How old were you when you found Sailor Moon, Janine?
I was in the teen, so it had already came out. I was just like basically watching the reruns. I was like, it was like in the 2000s where I saw it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I saw like the reruns, but that's how maybe because like the afternoon, maybe like when it first came out, it was like in the morning that early morning to get the kids up in there. But yeah, when I saw it, it was like in the old threes.
Okay, because you had like Sailor Moon S. All I had was like just season one, and I think they showed the lost episodes on Toonami, and that's when I finally.
Yes.
It's so far back. That's why I feel so old. When I was thinking about it,
Or
like,
Adult
damn,
Swim.
but yeah, it was love at first sight for me. Like I was twirling in my room too.
Oh, same here, especially to the music. Like for me, I I'm more closer to Chris's age than Janine's age. That's my little cousin, right? So I used to have to get anime from this comic book store. Shout out to Bulletproof Comics, where they had fan dubs on tape on VHS, and I would take my allowance money and I would go and I would figure out, how to get the fan dubs. The internet, AOL, all that was there. So I eventually figured out, from people at the store that I could, get fan dubs online. I know you're not technically, supposed to, but they had some streaming sites like Crunchyroll. I'm on Crunchyroll now. But I used to send money orders and money to the fan dub people, get my little VHSs, and I will watch anime on tape. Like that's how I got into anime. And of course, Sailor Moon, it's amazing. It's one of those shows that have stood the test of time. And obviously, they remade it, and you can watch, Crystal, and there some people, who can watch it, like you said, on Toonami and things like that. So it made it to TV. But why do you think the impact was so big? Chris, what are the elements you think that draw people to this show?
I think the story is timeless. Like you could watch it in the 90s, 2000. I feel like in 20 years you could watch it from the beginning to the end. I thought it was progressive for the time it came out too, especially with the whole like Uranus and Neptune, and then even further back in season one when they had, I think, Zoisite too, when they tried to change genders and stuff and try to confuse us. Because back in the day, when I saw it, like it was heavily edited, and then I saw on this website, it's called Sailor Moon Uncensored. I can't remember if it's still up or not, but it took me down a rabbit hole of like, oh shit, this is like all the stuff that I missed out on. They're not cousins. What? So, yeah, I just thought it was just like a really progressive show. Girl power. Like just very feminist. Like it just really attracted me. So
yes, those messages are definitely there. You have these girls kicking butt on the regular. What about you, Jenny? Why do you think the show has such a big impact on why it's enduring the test of time?
You know what? I think it's a lot on what Chris said, and as well as the animation. Like, and that I appreciated because, I grew up with like Looney Tunes and what's it? Andale, arriba, arriba, Speedy Gonzalez. Like, it had a nice, clean cut animation. And then when you get to Sailor Moon, it was kind of like I see it in reality right now, and I see it in new TV shows where it's like if her and Serena and Luna like are arguing, and then all of a sudden she says something, and then they break into a separate scene where Serena's like, and there's like a big sweat and like etches. And I was like, oh my God. And like, I love, like, I remember like I used to imitate that drawing style, that animation style. And then like, if you guys, well, I have like little nieces and nephews, and if they have a show called Miraculous, they like the way that she morphs Sailor Moon, they take that and they use it in new shows. So like I'm watching it, and all of a sudden I see she's twirling and there's stars all over. And I was like, hold up, this is Sailor Moon. And my niece is right? No, this is Miraculous. Get out of here. I was like, this is like Cat Noir. I was like, no, like this is like that also stood out. Like I didn't see another show like doing morph, or like that etched style. So, and just to see it in shows today, it's like, okay, that's how like that was good. Like the story was well written and the animation really brought it together.
You also reminded me of something when you were talking about it. Like, it didn't patronize the audience too. Like, just as a kid,
Mhm.
it was just really good stories. Really
It's
was.
so true. It's so true. And I agree with you guys that it was ahead of its time in terms of the magical girl genre, right? And I think you're right. It tapped into a lot of things that its audience was going through because it's obviously shoujo or it's geared towards girls and young women, right? And it is not shy about speaking to the concerns of girls. Like they had a lot of episodes where you see the girls struggling with like studying and like test scores and things like that, right? Or even dating and love. And even with the transformation, the makeup is all things that is very much a part of our lives, but it's not done in a way that, we can't relate to. And I definitely feel like, especially when it comes to the girl power aspects, right? The idea that women can be strong. We can defend the freaking universe. It's just very ahead of its time. And a lot of shows also have plot armor that's a little too much. And I think with Sailor Moon, especially if you're talking about the Japanese version, the fact that these characters, they can be killed. They're reincarnate and come back. But if a fight is hard, it's just hard, right? And some people bite the dust. And it's different from other animes in that regard because some plot armor is just too much in other shows, right? Oh man. So speaking of, the show and some of the characters you mentioned, Luna, who would be your favorite if you guys had to choose one? Which character is your favorite and why? Anybody could jump in.
I mean, I love Usagi, but I feel like I
Oh,
have to take her out.
okay.
Because it's just obvious that like she's the Beyonce. But I would say Sailor Jupiter, Makoto.
Oh.
Like I really liked her because I love that I was really tall as a kid. Like she was the tallest
Oh.
one. I love that she was like kind of like a tomboy, but still sensitive too. I was still going through that as well. I just gravitated towards her, and I loved her powers too. Like I just love that she was like the strong one in the group, and so I always loved her.
Oh, she was strong as hell.
Like she was like basically as strong as the outers, but she was with the inners. Yeah,
Outer Senshi.
yeah.
All right. Janine, what about you?
Sailor Mars. That was my girl. Man, first of all, inches.
Yeah, I used to
But
hate her.
who's?
I could
I
not
love
stand her at one point.
I loved her little stiletto rings. But no, I like, you know what I loved about, first of all, I loved her and her relationship with Sailor Moon. Like they were just going at it. And she was always critiquing her, like, you're so whiny. And Sailor Moon had a time. She was a little whiny. She's still young. But it was crazy. Like she would correct that, but you could still like you could still see like there was respect there. And then like they basically bumped heads, and it was just hilarious. It was like Keenan and Kel a little bit. That's what it gave me, like that type of style is going back and forth. And then just seeing how the way she was with her grandmother, and the way she was like culturally grounded. And it's like when you take her out of that element, she was very like sensitive. She was like, they kind of portrayed her when she was with the friend group like she was this big tough girl, but like when you see her at home, it was just like the opposite of that. So I like that night and day, like that characterization about her. Like she had a lot of growth. And just to see that transform, I really like gravitated to her. Cause I had, it's like, I know sometimes I seem like very like extra and out there, but it's like sometimes when I'm at home, I just be chilling. Like no problems. Just I was like, I just want to lay down, watch like my little shows. And like and the culture about it. So Sailor.
Yeah. I had a late appreciation for her, but I see what you're saying.
Yeah, she's a beautiful one. She's a beautiful one. I always wanted to play her.
Oh, like cosplay?
Yeah, or like just like for Halloween, just like dress up as her, like she was just Rozo.
Yeah.
The stiletto girl.
See, oh, y'all making me think about this. Okay, since you guys took ones that I thought of, I would say Ami, Mercury, right?
Mercury?
I think she was a popular role model even in Japan. And I think for me, I was always kind of bookish. Like I was that one. I would not want to take homework home. I'd be trying to do my homework every chance I got, and also still try to balance, you know, having extracurriculars. Like I did sports still, and I tried to, you know, hang out with my cousins and my friends too. So that balance, you know, I think it's important, and especially if you're in a culture like Japan, and even in America, where like, you know, testing is so important, and people kind of even sort you by your grades and your scores, and especially when it's college time, all that admissions pressure, you can kind of get lost in student life. But she showed that you can still, you know, study, have your stuff together, and still have a life, you know. So I would have to say her. But on the flip side, guys, who are your least favorite characters or things about the show that you would change? What things, if you were, you know, Naoko Takeuchi, or you could get in her brain, who or what would you change about the show? Because nothing's perfect, you know?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I didn't think about the least favorite character thing. I could come back to that, but what I would change, I always thought it was a mistake to not have the outers in Super S. I think that would have really made it great, but they really centered it around Chibiusa, which kind of took me out of it a little bit. I know some people's favorite season is Super S. It's not mine, but I think I would change that. And the way, like with Super S and Stars, they started sympathizing with the villain a lot. Whereas like season one, season two, like I think even with the what were they called? The Heart Snatchers, the Death Busters. Yeah, Death Busters. Like they annihilated them. I just wanted, I don't know. I wanted Galactus. So what was her name? Sailor Galactus. So Sailor, you know what I'm talking about?
You talking about the one that controlled time?
Yeah, like in the last season, Sailor Galaxy.
I would say Pluto. Yeah. Is it Galaxy or Pluto?
Who was the enemy with
I'd be confusing them.
With the armor. But yeah, like
you're probably right.
Yeah, they gave her like a redemption, and I didn't want that. But yeah.
So
I can't think
you
of
didn't like that arc.
What'd you say?
What about, so that arc is what you would change?
Yeah, particularly like having the outers in Super S. That's what I would have changed.
Oh yeah, the outer Senshi. They're such cool characters, and again ahead of their time, because I didn't see a lot of anime with like characters that were LGBTQ plus, you know. So I think that was important for representation too, you know. So having more of them, that would have been awesome. I think maybe now we can appreciate those characters more. But again, it was ahead of its time, right?
Yeah, especially with Fish Eye on Super S.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta agree with Chris. Yeah, I would have loved to hear more about the outers, because once you just got a taste of them, I was like, wait, hold up, there's more? Like, I need to know. Like, I want a bigger storyline, like, just to see how they, I don't, yeah, that was me. I wanted that. And then, I don't know, for me, I know it, like, works for their, like, arc, but Sailor Moon was very, very boy crazy. I just wanted to have a little help. Like, I understand it, like, go forward to see the master's hot. But it was to the point where it was like all she would kind of think about at certain times, and it's like, girl, you have like a whole bunch of Sailor Scouts that you got to lead. Like, I need you to focus on that for like a little second. But I just want to like, but I understood that, she's growing up, she's a kid. Maybe because that was the one thing where I wasn't necessarily boy crazy. It was always books. Like Shanta, mom and dad. Like,
Yes.
we were books. And if you did like somebody else, like, okay, you have a little crush, but the focus is the books. So I just wanted like, but that's how, she got all her beautiful Sailor Scouts, like with Sailor Mercury, getting her little head on straight. And you have Luna, like, getting up on that. So, yeah, just more Sailor Scouts and little less boy.
Yeah. Oh, two more points. Sorry.
Yes.
I was talking about Sailor Galaxia. That's what I was talking about.
Okay.
And then I would say Chibiusa. Like, I think she was really mean and an ungrateful brat a little bit. I would tone that down a bit.
That's actually what I was gonna say. The Chibiusa stuff got a little uncomfortable, especially with the, crushing on the dad and like kissing the dad. Like that I would take out.
It was getting too weird.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
So we all had the same.
We don't. Yeah.
I forgot. As soon as you mentioned that name, I was like, oh. I erased that from my memory.
But yeah, hopefully people can put in the comments, the things that they would change, the things they would take or leave. Another thing that I would change, because I agree with you about, the Chibiusa stuff, would be Mamoru a tuxedo mask. I know it's a girl power show, but he getting kidnapped so much and all that stuff. I wish he was a little bit better. I wish he could do better in general.
Yeah. I mean, they took him out the last season completely.
I just wish he was a little better, but that's okay. Mm-hmm. Art mirrors life. I wish a lot of people would do better.
Also, wasn't he like significantly older than her too?
College.
Like that's what I felt like. Wait, she's 14. He's about to go to college.
Right.
Yeah, it was a different time. And again, their love, it spans millennia, so we can't quite judge it on that scale. True. But I do agree. It's some stuff that's a little creepy, but I think we have a different sensibility, So let's get into just our own projects and stuff because we don't want to take forever. What are you guys up to? What can we look forward to from you? Because hopefully, we can do more shows in the future. But what projects do y'all got going on now? What do you want the people to know about you so that they can follow you? Let's start with Chris.
So on my YouTube channel, I do housewife reviews every week. Housewives of Atlanta, Potomac, Jersey, etc. A lot of Bravo shows. I also have Pop Roast with Alexander Rogers on his channel. It's my main podcast. You can find it on Alexander Rogers' channel, or you can find it on Spotify and Apple. Then I have my Patreon. Patreon.com/cdiggy1, just a little extra content about me, extra reviews, cocktail episodes. What else? And yeah, you can just find me on Instagram and Twitter talking shit.
And Pop Roast is so hilarious. Like seriously, if y'all not watching, I totally recommend it. It has gotten me through so many things. How about you, Janine? What projects you got going on? Where people can find you if they want more?
Yeah, well, I mean, they can always find me. I'm typically on like IG or TikTok, the Janine Hartman, and I am still performing. I have some movies coming out, like Friends of Sophia by Alden Peters. It's like in the future where people are having sexual relationships with robots, so it's an interesting twist. And I have a couple of movies that are coming out. But like I said, right now I'm part of SAG, so we're on strike right now. So a lot of those projects got pushed back. But it's already been completed. It's just waiting to be released. But standing in solidarity with all my SAG.
Yeah.
All my SAG right now.
Yes, we stand in solidarity, and this is a perfect time to catch up on some anime for people who are also standing in solidarity because they cannot replace Genie and all these fabulous actors with AI. They cannot not pay these people. So y'all, let's try to support stand in solidarity. Um, for this channel, we're doing anime countdown still. We'll probably do a magical girl countdown and a romance countdown next. But we already have the funniest anime countdown. We got the top mecha countdown. We have the tearjerker countdown, and of course, we also do reality TV reviews. I'm on the lean on Tuesdays at 8:30 if you watch Real Housewives in New York. And also on Bell Collective when it comes back. And here we also do Love and Hip Hop Miami. But really, we're gonna try to have another super session, maybe Attack on Titan if Christmas.
Yeah, I just gotta finish it.
Yeah. But this was a fun time. Thank you all so much for talking Sailor Moon. We're not gonna keep you too long, but just spread love, y'all. See you.
Bye.
Bye.